Chief Obiora was a legend in their town. He built his fortune through sweat and wisdom. His farmlands stretched as far as the eye could see, and his real estate empire made him the richest man around. People admired him, not just for his wealth but for his kindness. He helped many families rise from poverty, provided jobs, and built schools. He was a father to the community, a man who believed in hard work and fairness. But even great men cannot escape death. One fateful morning, Chief Obiora did not wake up. The town was silent, mourning the loss of their leader. His children, Chike, Ifeoma, Nnamdi, and Adis, stood in black, tears streaming down their faces. Yet, behind their sorrow, greed was already creeping into their hearts. They did not see their father's death as a tragedy but as an opportunity. As people paid their respects, whispers filled the air. Who will take over the empire? Will the children manage it well? Nobody knew that this was the beginning of the end for the great Obiora family. The siblings barely spoke as they returned home. Their father's mansion, once filled with warmth, now felt cold. The grand dining table, where they once shared laughter and meals, remained untouched. Each child was lost in thought, already plotting their next move. After the burial, the real battle began. Chike, the eldest, called a family meeting in their father's grand mansion. He cleared his throat and spoke with authority. As the first son, it is only right that I take control of our father's businesses. Ifeoma and Adis exchanged glances. Why should you get everything? Ifeoma demanded. We are also his children. Chike frowned. You are women. Our culture gives the eldest son the power to lead. Adis stood. That is nonsense. We worked hard for this family too. Father would have wanted fairness. Nnamdi, the youngest, was silent. He did not know where to stand. But soon, outsiders began whispering in his ears. You are the youngest, but you deserve a large share, they told him. Slowly, bitterness filled his heart. That night, the siblings went to bed as enemies. The house, once filled with laughter, was now silent and cold. The mansion, which had witnessed years of unity, would now bear witness to greed and division. Days turned into weeks, and the fights only got worse. They could not agree on anything. Chike wanted control. Ifeoma and Adis wanted equality. Nnamdi wanted more than what was given to him. The family's lawyer tried to mediate, but nobody listened. Chike finally made a decision. If you refuse to accept my leadership, I will take this to court. Ifeoma scoffed. Go ahead. You are not the only one with money. And so, the siblings took their fight to court. They hired expensive lawyers and spent millions proving who deserved what. Their father's businesses suffered. Employees were left without salaries. Their farmlands dried up, and properties were left abandoned. The town that once respected the Obiora family now whispered in disappointment. You see what greed has done to them, an old man said. Chief Obiora would be heartbroken. Still, the siblings did not care. They were too blinded by anger and pride. Each one wanted to win, even if it meant destroying everything their father built. The court battles dragged on for years. Every hearing ended in more bitterness. Relatives picked sides. Old family friends became enemies. The once powerful Obiora name became a joke. Chike moved to the city, focusing on his own business. Ifeoma and Adis stayed close, but their hearts were filled with resentment. Nnamdi, still angry, spent his money recklessly on fake friends and fast pleasures. The grand Obiora mansion, once filled with love and laughter, now stood empty. The air was heavy with silence. The empire Chief Obiora built had fallen, not because of an outsider, but because of his own children. One evening, Ifeoma was preparing dinner when she heard a loud thud. She rushed to the living room and saw her son, David, lying on the floor. His small body was shaking, and his face was burning with fever. "David! Wake up," she cried, shaking him gently. She rushed him to the hospital, but the doctor's words made her heart drop. "He needs urgent surgery, and it will be very expensive." Ifeoma's hands trembled. The money she once had was gone. The court cases had drained her. She swallowed her pride and knew there was only one choice left: she needed help from her family. Tears streamed down her face as she stared at her phone. Would they even answer her call after all these years? Through painful conversations and reluctant agreements, the siblings begin to reconnect. Ifeoma calls Adis first, her voice trembling. Adis is shocked to hear from her but quickly agrees to help, sensing the desperation in her sister's voice. "We'll find a way, Ifeoma. We have to," she says firmly. Next, Ifeoma dials Chike's number, her hands shaking. The phone rings for what feels like an eternity before he picks up. His voice is cold at first, but when Ifeoma tells him about David's condition, his tone softens. "I'll send money immediately," he says, guilt weighing on him. He realizes that family should come before pride. The final call to Namdi is the hardest. Ifeoma hesitates, knowing how distant he has become. But she takes a deep breath and dials. When Namdi answers, he sounds annoyed at first. "Why are you calling me after all these years?" he demands. But when Ifeoma explains, his anger fades. There is a long pause before he finally says, "I'll send my share. Tell the doctors to go ahead with the surgery." For the first time in years, the four siblings unite with a common goal: to save David. It is the first step toward healing their broken family. As David's surgery is performed, the siblings sit together in silence, their hearts heavy with worry. The cold hospital walls seem to close in on them as they wait, each lost in thought. Memories flood back, running through the fields as children, sharing secrets under the mango tree, laughing at their father's jokes during dinner. They remember the warmth of their childhood home before greed and bitterness divided them. Chike shifts in his seat, rubbing his temples. "I can't believe we let things get this bad," he mutters. Adis nods, her eyes filled with tears. "We wasted so much time fighting over money that we forgot what really matters." Ifeoma remains silent, staring at the operating room doors, praying for her son's life. Namdi, usually the loudest among them, is uncharacteristically quiet, his hands clasped together as if in prayer. For the first time in years, they are united, not by money or power, but by fear and hope. They realize that their fight for wealth cost them something far more precious: their family. And now, they have a second chance to fix it, if only David makes it through. David's surgery is successful. The doctor steps out, removing his surgical mask with a tired but reassuring smile. David is stable. The surgery went well. Relief washes over the siblings like a wave. Ifeoma breaks down in tears, sobbing into her hands. "Thank you, God," she whispers. Adis hugs her tightly, tears streaming down her own face. Chike, who had been holding his breath, finally exhales, his hands trembling. For the first time in years, the siblings embrace without resentment. The weight of their past mistakes is heavy in the air, but so is something else: hope. Ifeoma wipes her tears and looks at her brothers. "We let greed tear us apart," she says, her voice thick with emotion. "Father wouldn't have wanted this." Chike swallows hard. "I was blinded by my own selfishness. I thought power was more important than family. I see now how wrong I was." Namdi, with tears brimming in his eyes, steps forward. "I let outsiders poison my mind. I turned my back on all of you when I should have been standing by your side. I'm sorry." No words are needed. They have lost so much time, but in this moment, they realize it is not too late to rebuild what was broken. They decide to drop all court cases, realizing that their years of conflict had brought them nothing but misery. Instead of fighting, they agree to honor their father's legacy by working together. Their first stop is their father's farmland, once lush and full of workers tending to crops. Now, it is overgrown with weeds, the barns empty and falling apart. Chike steps forward, running his hand over a rotting wooden post. "This was where it all started," he murmurs, his voice thick with regret. Next, they visit the real estate properties their father had worked so hard to develop. Many buildings stand vacant, their windows shattered, their walls covered in dust and neglect. "We let it all go to waste," Adis whispers, shaking her head. Ifeoma places a hand on her brother's shoulder. "But we can fix it. If we work together, we can bring it all back." Nnamdi nods, determination burning in his eyes. "Let's stop looking back and start moving forward. We owe it to ourselves, to our family, and to Father." For the first time in years, they stand united, not as rivals, but as siblings with a shared purpose. The journey to restoration begins. Each sibling takes on a role in rebuilding the business, understanding that their father's legacy must be restored with the same dedication he once had. Chike, with his experience in finance, takes charge of managing the money flow, ensuring that funds are used wisely and debts are settled. He spends long nights studying balance sheets and negotiating deals to bring stability back to the company. Ifeoma oversees production, walking through the farmlands daily, talking to workers, and ensuring that operations run smoothly. She sets high standards, determined to restore the farm's former reputation. Under her leadership, the land, which once lay in ruins, begins to flourish again. Adis takes on public relations, using her communication skills to rebuild trust with customers and investors. She arranges meetings with former clients, reassuring them that the business is under responsible leadership. Her charm and determination win people back, and soon, contracts start flowing in. Nnamdi, once the most reckless of them all, surprises everyone with his dedication. He restructures the real estate investments, selling off unprofitable properties and restoring valuable ones. He personally oversees renovations, making sure each property reflects the excellence their father once demanded. Slowly, the business begins to thrive again. The siblings, once enemies, now work together as a team, driven by a shared purpose. They visit relatives and former employees, apologizing sincerely for the pain they caused. Some welcome them with open arms, relieved that the family has finally reunited. Others are hesitant, still wounded by the past betrayals and conflicts. Some workers who lost their jobs due to the family's greed struggle to believe in their sincerity. The siblings do not expect immediate forgiveness. They continue visiting, offering to make amends where possible. Chike meets with former employees, promising to rehire them and compensate for past hardships. Ifeoma and Adis personally visit every relative they wronged, listening to their grievances and expressing deep remorse. Nnamdi, once the most reckless of them all, surprises everyone by working hard to restore trust. Little by little, the walls of bitterness begin to crumble. Some wounds heal quickly, while others take time. But one thing is clear, the siblings are determined to make things right, no matter how long it takes. Their father's legacy was not just wealth, but integrity and family unity, and they are finally honoring it. The businesses regain their former glory, but this time, the siblings value more than just profits. They cherish the teamwork and unity that made it all possible. The once empty farmlands are now bustling with workers, the fields stretching green and rich under the sun. The real estate properties are no longer crumbling, they shine with fresh paint and new tenants, breathing life back into the town. The townspeople, who once whispered about the family's downfall, now speak with admiration. The Obiora family has returned, they say, proud to see the legacy restored. A grand reopening ceremony is held, and the entire community comes to celebrate. Former employees, investors, and friends gather, clapping as the siblings stand together on the stage, thanking everyone for their patience and support. But the greatest victory is at home. The family mansion, which once stood as a reminder of division, is now a place of love and laughter again. Children's voices echo through the halls, the scent of delicious meals fills the air, and the dining table is once again a place where stories are shared and bonds are strengthened. The Obiora family is whole once more. Standing in front of their father's portrait, the siblings reflect on their journey, the trials they endured, and the painful lessons they learned. They see, not just a man of great wealth, but a father who built his empire on love, integrity, and unity. The memories of their childhood come flooding back, his laughter at the dinner table, his strong but fair hand guiding them, his belief that family should always come first. For years, they let their greed cloud their judgment, turning their backs on each other for material possessions. But now, they see the truth: true wealth is not in money, power, or land, but in the bond they share as siblings. Chike, Ifeoma, Adiz, and Namdi stand side by side, their hands clasped together, a silent promise passing between them. Never again, Chike says firmly. We won't let greed destroy what father built. Adiz nods. From now on, we move forward as a family. As they leave the room, the portrait of Chief Obiora seems to watch over them, a silent guardian of their newfound unity. They walk away, not as rivals, but as a family reborn.